And we're live today in the Meta Lab, and Jay is making me laugh before I introduce the show, which is perfectly fine. We have a full house today for the lab for once in a little while. So let's go through the introductions. Of course, I am Jason. This is Mike, Jordan, and Jay.
Hail Hydra.
All right. So let's get into it. Rumors are abound that there's going to be another delay with regards to Trinity War. None of them 100% substantiated yet in our edge of North America. But as that is said, we do have more previews coming in with every day. Plus, we did happen to get our gravity feed. So have you guys had a chance to go through your gravity feed, open them up, look through them, pick your figures? Let's start with favorite figures from the gravity feed. I think it might be universal, but Mike, let's start with you.
I haven't even gone through the gravity feed yet, so move on.
How have you not seen the amazingness that is that Green Arrow?
Green Arrow.
Lex Luthor. Guys, look at him. He's just so power armor and good. He's the worst. Hey, I'm playing against somebody with mind control. I'm just gonna get mind controlled and then kill my own friendly character and give the opposing player a bonus. Good idea. It's like how they made that rule that you can't like mind control an opposing character and then like put them in a vehicle. No, you can put them in a vehicle, but you can't like merge them. So you can't like steal them, and then like they made this guy and he can KO like your own Black Adam, and then you can weep.
Although I kind of like the Gravity Feed Firestorm. He seems interesting.
I was looking at him and I said he's got a lot of potential to set up some pretty mean pulse waves or just direct, because one square blocking doesn't seem that great, but at first glance, sidestep doesn't seem that great, and then you use it, and it's all of a sudden the greatest thing that's ever happened to the game for yourself every time you use it. So,
you also put him in like a hallway, and you want to put that barrier up in front of him. Yeah, maybe you'll be able to get a shot off on him, but he's got 19 from range and potential complete blockage with the one square barrier.
Yep. All right.
I don't like the sculpt though. Why do they make all these flying characters that are just sitting on the ground looking like they need to take a shit? Like,
in my opinion, they went DC 75th for this set. They have a lot of bus stop stuff. Sculpt.
He's not even waiting for the bus. He's just looks very constipated. That Superman was waiting for a bus. This guy is just not
I think
happy with his
this
life.
guy is like.
I like the Bizarro lingerie pose.
Yeah. This Firestorm popping in through the doorway like, hello guys.
Hey guys.
Not a big fan of that Black Orchid, but I do like the trade. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I thought the trait was going to be... It's going to be one of those things where in the metagame, the 300-point metagame, unless there's something I missed with regards to Justice League Dark, she's not going to break the game.
No.
But at a table game with my friends, we're playing a 600-point team, and I got a Justice League Dark team on the board, she's going to save some lives.
Yeah.
They think they're going to one-shot your Tim Hunter, but then boom.
Yep.
Have not.
You can one-shot my Black Orchid instead.
Not even. She's got those adventures and a pretty decent dial.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
6 clicks, 18 invulnerability, so when you made the switch, she would reduce the damage first, right?
Yes. Believe so.
Yeah, that would, then she'd do pretty good, I guess.
You can even set up some of your own shenanigans if you want to do a multi-target pulse wave and then just have her pop in and smash somebody's head open. Or something.
Yep.
Or something.
Oh.
Yeah, and then that second click with plasticity, and she gets better attack, so you can set it up right where you think that your opponent thinks, oh, I'm based with Frankenstein, but then boom, based with plasticity and super strength and shit, and then meanness, yeah.
That works too.
All right. I am currently actually just acting on pure instinct and pulling up some of the previews from the week so we can share them with our fans.
Who's screen? Who's screen sharing?
Yeah, that's what I was about to do, actually, as a matter of fact. So, that said, last week, I believe the last thing we got a chance to get a good look at was Owlman and
The Outsider?
Yeah.
Yep. So this week, since then, we've seen Batman and Catwoman, Sinestro and Bizarro, and Johnny Quick and Atomica, and out there in the ether as well is the Fast Forces. Now, a lot of people there's a big consensus that a lot of the Fast Forces characters happen to be a lot better than most of the main set characters, which is
Very much so.
very big relief for some of us. There's one thing that seems like a gigantic oversight.
Owlman's trade can go fuck itself.
Owlman's trait is a lot more useful, if you ask me, than Ultraman's trait.
Wait, what did I say?
You're terrible. You said Owlman.
Oh, I meant Ultraman.
Yeah. Ultraman.
Yeah, it makes you want to commit some ultra violence. It's just so
But
dumb.
being able to play, what is it? Owlman, Banshee, Harley theme for 300 points.
That one kind of.
That was my idea. It's disgusting. I love it. Wait, no, you can't. Well, yeah, Harley at 50, yeah.
Yeah,
Or even him at
that's
lower points.
298.
Or you play Owlman at lower points because he gets outwit and empower and enhancement.
Okay.
Was it? Yeah, but every lower tier dials 4 clicks these days apparently.
It's better.
Actually, Black Adams I think even
Owlman main
was.
sets 50 points, 3 clicks.
All right. Now, I'm going to be throwing this up for our fans now. So, first we have, of the previews, we have Catwoman. Let's go around the table. Mike, thoughts on Catwoman?
Cool. Neat sculpt. Can't be trusted adjacent. Adjacent opposing characters can't use team abilities. Well, that's kind of rough, but not that bad, really. I don't know. Looks interesting. I'll probably have to look into it a little bit further, which seems to be my answer for everything these days.
Jordan?
I feel like 100 points is a little much for her, but as like a pseudo secondary attacker for Batman Family and Gotham City Sirens, could be interesting as well. She's got the perplex and then the stealth. Basically, she's got a 19 defense unless you ignore hindering. And then she's also pretty mobile. I just really wouldn't cost her at 99, maybe 75. I feel like some of the characters that came out in Flash and Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, like the Inhumans, they're all 75 points, and they seem to do about what she does.
Yeah. Yep. Jay?
Love her, except that we are apparently never going to get a good Poison Ivy to complete Gotham City Sirens, so that's a bit of a annoying thing.
Well, with a Batman set phasing out and a Batman-Superman movie coming out, we're probably going to see at least a Batman set on the way.
Yeah.
Right. So,
For sure.
I believe I got the right one loaded up here. Yeah, okay. So the next one kind of overshadowed the lady. I'm previewed on the same day. Batman, ladies and gentlemen. Also super rare, much like the Wonder Woman and Superman. So the full Trinity of 3 is going to be, it would seem, zoom in on that bit. They're gonna be a series of super rares. They're all fairly decent in what they do, but that's. Let's start with Mike. What do you think of Batman here?
Pick a power Batman. It's pretty fucking amazing. Like, really, really cool. Grappling hook, of course, being able to ignore elevated. I like the Trinity aspect to him with Superman and Wonder Woman, being able to give them Batman, making them stealth. Aside from that, Outwit and Perplex, top dial if you're playing 150 points, great. Actually, it's top dial for both.
Yeah.
Really, really good. I like it a lot. I'm going to try my best to figure out a way to use them. Although I don't think it'll be that hard.
I was about to say, and like you kind of just play him, and he does it all.
He does the stuff.
He's got the gumption. Jordan?
I think what I said sums it up. He does it all. he gives everybody of a lower point value at 150 points. That's a lot of characters, especially if you're playing within 300 points. That should be your whole team. Like, you really can't go higher than 150 points.
Yeah.
And then being able to pick any attack power. This is a Pulse Waving Batman. This is a Psychic Blast Batman. This is Precision Strike Batman. This is everything Batman. And then what? Can use Outwit and Perplex. If he has no action tokens, he can also use Probability Control. Like, he also gives that new Superman. So outside of the 300-point meta, he makes that 250-point monster have stealth.
And incidentally, the Superman will share his ability to ignore hindering for line of fire and movement.
The only thing I'm upset about that Batman, actually, that and the lack of the detective keyword, while still having a special power called World's Greatest Detective and Strategist.
Yeah. It seems like a slight oversight in regards to the keywords, but I don't know.
But I mean, Magic doesn't have the X-Men keyword, so maybe not as much as an oversight as that.
Yeah. Jay.
I was pretty happy when this first came out, but just if you just said the Batman ally was traded stealth, you took away the Justice League, like you took away the Batman sculpt. This is just a style that does everything. It just does everything.
I immediately looked at him and said he's another one of those characters that is going to come in with I don't know if he's going to be in there very long. I think they're going to have a month of no tactics with this Batman in there, and then it's going to be shifted over to tactics. But I think he might have potential in both formats, especially once you start including things like the orange power battery with him. The ability to choose a power and then turn the orange battery around on your opponent and say, oh, by the way, since you had that power, you no longer have that power.
Especially at 85 points, I feel like he's very viable. 4 clicks long, 17 reflexes, basically a 19 unless you ignore hindering once again. Then he's got an 11 attack, choose your power, 2 with the trinity of support powers, and he's got an 8 movement charge. So, I mean,
honestly, at 85 points for an extra 20 points on top of the Harley, he does a lot of what she does and then some.
What do you guys think about him at 150, though?
Sorry?
What do you think of him at 150, though?
At 150, he's good. He's an extra 3 clicks. His stats are high. But I can, like, at the 85-point level, I see a lot more potential in what he can do. Because of the flexibility of the team that you still have available to you by only taking up 85 points, right?
Yeah.
That's where my thinking is. Like, the 85-point version of this one is probably the best support character ever made. And the 150-point version of this is a very, very solid 150-point character who can do it all and can be a decent version of pretty much any character that you want him to be, because he's the goddamn Batman, right?
Yeah, his attack doesn't drop below a 10 at any point.
Yeah, no. He doesn't feel like Batman at all. Obviously, he's phenomenal. I like him better than Engineer at lower points, but I just doesn't feel like Batman. Batman should not be TKing or picking super strength. Like, I like that the old one, the strategy game one, they said he couldn't pick powers he already had on the dial, so you couldn't abuse it as much, which is, I mean, he's amazing, obviously, but just character-wise, makes me a bit sad.
I don't feel like they can ever top this one.
No.
That's what I said, yeah. What can you possibly do after this?
After this,
They've written themselves into a corner.
Well, and no Batman fan can possibly be happier than this anymore. And every Batman after this is going to seem lackluster, or it's going to be way too overpowered because they have to They end up one-upping this one, right? So, you're right.
They basically need to.
I feel like they might just go to the depowered thing and lead up to another one. For example, they kind of did that with 200-point Batman in the Batman set. Like, a lot of people complain like Batman shouldn't be 200 points, and then we get a whole bunch of ones that are kind of mediocre, and then we get this one.
Yeah. It's like this 150-point one might be a little too much. So
Might.
yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next preview we have, and that is, if I can pull it up, Sinestro.
Sinestro.
We knew he was coming from the DC All Access.
He's a rare because he's silver.
And now we actually get a chance to get a good, solid look at this dial. Once again, this is a character who can be played at a very high point at 200 points, and also equally very low at 90.
For 4 clicks.
For 4 clicks, so he's not the toughest cat around. But the 200-point version is definitely very playable. Mike, your thoughts first?
I don't know why, but I think he should have a saxophone in his other hand. He's got like this wispy stuff and like a saxophone. He just needs that. Scabba-da-dee-ba-doo. I mean, I love quintessent characters. I'm just looking at it, and I immediately think of the Yellow Battery for obvious reasons. I mean, you play him at 200 points with the Yellow Battery. I don't think he's going to be viable for no tactics, but I do like the Pulse Wave. It's always fun to have that in there. And what was the other piece of it? It was Perplex, but only decrease combat values until your next turn. A character targeted by Perplex can't target Sinestro unless the targeted character or Sinestro are the only characters on their force. So like a mini pact.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah.
It's kind of like a torturous Perplex where he perplexes you down.
You're so perplexed you can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you basically need to do is play him with the Yellow Battery, give him the Yellow Wall, Pulse Wave your opponent's team, perplex down one guy, wall in the other guy so he can't attack you, and then they can't do anything. And you just laugh maniacally.
Commence their...
Saxophone.
Yeah. Jordan, thoughts?
Oh, God.
Always a big fan of the Sinestro core. So, obvious love. And then a Pulse Wave that takes away Quintessence. I enjoy that.
Now, I actually want to point out that it's not the Pulse Wave taking away the Quintessence. It's just an additional effect to his Pulse Wave because it goes, he can use Pulse Wave, period.
Oh, sorry.
Opposing characters that can use Quintessence team ability instead can't and modify their combat values by -1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually 2 separate effects attached to that one power, which is...
So it's just an overall -1 to anybody who's quintessent.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect power like cosmic.
That's right, yeah. So the power cosmic...
Yeah.
Wait, so that's just a straight-up thing? Like you play
Yeah, it's just a continuous effect.
Yeah. As long as he has that power, which is on click 1... I'm sorry, I'm trying to look through my shared screen here.
145.
157, sorry. No, wait,
That's
156, 156.
5 and 6, yeah.
That's outrageous. So it works like the exact same way as Parallax is like opposing characters just can't ignore pushing damage. Doesn't matter. Just you can't.
And he cripples opposing Parallaxes too.
Yeah, that hurts.
This would be one of those mirror matches where it's just like, yep, this just happened.
I'm just also upset that he didn't get the. Huh?
Oh, I just said my Parallax beats your Parallax.
Oh yeah. I'm just upset that he doesn't have the whole real name and Parallax like the Kyle Rayner and presumably the Hal did. Because that's what is going on here.
But this is more Sinestro with Parallax's power, while the other two were Parallax being like, I'm taking over your body.
It's not very meta, guys. Jeez.
Yeah. I don't think he's very... Yeah. I don't like the invulnerability. I'd just rather have seen Invincible, because Invincible on Power Cosmic characters is wonderful. Because there's basically no way around it besides Pulse Wave.
And like Jordan said, the 90-point version with only 4 clicks, he takes one shot from any kind of a solid figure. He's pretty much seen the light all the day he's going to see, right?
So at 100 points on a Sinestro core team with the yellow power battery, I think he's very durable. Especially having an 18 defense, 20 from range, 11 attack, 10 having a 6 movement running shot with 8 range, 2 bolts. That's not bad.
Yeah,
and Lithidrak has that Deus Ex Machina prob power, so
that's true.
It's gonna be hard to hit him.
For Lithidrak on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I think we've already insulted the sculpture on this one.
Strike a pose. Yep.
Bizarro, he's on the catwalk.
Yay!
Bizarro look really pretty.
Bizarro M not have body dysmorphia.
We talked about him a little bit when we didn't have really the full preview or anything like that the last time. I mean, I don't like him at 215 points. He's kind of usable at 100. I don't think he's complete garbage. I like the Battle Fury on there. And what's interesting is the conflict between the trait and the Battle Fury. I guess that's maybe to turn it off and turn it on. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but
what does Battle Fury have anything to do with his trait?
No, the trait won't be affected by Battle Fury because he gets super strength as a trait. And then adjacent characters named Lex Luthor can use Mastermind, but only to transfer damage to Bizarro, regardless of point value.
Right. No, it's the Mastermind piece of it that I was looking at because
Mastermind. You can Mastermind Battle Fury.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah. You can TK with Battle Fury even. But you can't parry and some other stuff. But no, Mastermind has nothing to do with it. Yeah, Quake Battle Fury is great.
Yes. Because Shape Change messed up so many of my Quakes in the past. I just.
It gets to the point where it gives you Battle Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I get to roll Shape Change. No, I have Battle Fury. I ignore that shit.
One of the things we did.
It reminds me of this game I was playing Deadpool Sealed. I was playing the Chase Sabretooth, who has full dial Battle Fury, and I was playing against something that had Shape Change. And the last roll, I forgot about that, and then the last roll of the game was basically I needed them not to roll their Shape Change for me to win, and they didn't. And then after the game, I did end up winning, and I won the tournament. And I ended up being like, oh, you didn't have Shape Change that whole game. And then he's like, oh, I'm colorblind. I had no idea. I'm like, really?
Yeah, there's a little bit of an issue with darker colors. With regards to this character, he's not super competitive at 215, though he could make a pretty solid dent in a good and a decent sealed team if you can happen to pull a. I didn't see if there's very many low point perplexers, but of course if you happen to pull a Batman who's a super rare, not very likely to be pulled, he's now got a TKer to go with him. There's probably a couple figures that could go with this figure that could make him a solid brick for sealed, and if he's your highest point character with your highest amount of damage, there's nothing wrong with playing him as far as sealed goes. As far as the meta play, unless you've got a really, really important Lex Luthor, I don't see that Mastermind coming into play, especially in an area with so much precision strike that's just saying, I don't care about your Mastermind. Because that's one of those things that I look at Mastermind now and I say, that would be great. Oh, but wait, hold on. There's a power that cancels it now.
Say, look at all my super senses all my stealth Mastermind figures that are unusable now. Yeah.
So, we move on to Johnny Quick. Now, this is going to be one of the few characters where I say this is definitely better than the Fast Forces one.
Yeah, I believe.
Gotta go fast.
I was looking at him. I think he's actually really interesting.
Yes. Have you had a chance to look at this yet, Mike?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I like having the ability to choose one or two, to be able to increase his combat values by that amount, and then you actually have to take that amount of damage and unavoidable damage. It's interesting because it gives you options. Another Speed Force character to add to the many that we got out of the Flash set. Let's see here, and I mean, I love improved movement to anything. So, let's see here. He's 6 clicks long, 12 hypersonic. It's great, Energy shield deflection right off the bat. Looks good to me. 82 points.
Jordan.
As I said, I really like him. I think he works pretty well. He ignores hindering terrain, so he can actually move around, unlike the speedsters in the Flash set. He also ignores characters, so he does what a speedster should do, I guess, at least in ignoring characters. Ignoring elevated would have been nice, but not going to ask too much out of an 82-point character.
No.
That does 5 damage.
Yeah, exactly. Potential 5 damage, but the way I actually looked at his dial, the best way to play him, in my opinion, would be like first attack, choose 1, increase his stats by 1, take the 1 to your Precision Strike click, where you only lose a damage and a speed value. And then that turn you choose 2 and get knocked back to your 10 attack once again, so you don't have to deal with your 9 attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way you end up dealing.
Although, wait, if you push off that power, are you still gonna you do that first turn, get a token, get to second click, and then second click you take your pushing damage off of that special power. It doesn't look like you take that damage after that.
Well, I meant his second attack. I didn't mean you would push to just do it. 82 points.
I'm just I'm looking at the timing on the power.
Doesn't say even if the power's lost.
It says you take the damage at the end of your turn, so you are going to take the push first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if you do 4 damage the first attack, and then 1 damage, then you're doing 8 damage in 2 turns. Like, what more can you ask for?
And remember, this is 8 damage coming from 82 points with a team ability that gives him probability control. You have a lot of room to work with on this guy. You can get a team together that's big enough to just feed those CSA tokens to, because don't forget, you can feed those CSA tokens to bystander tokens. And unfortunately, most of the really small point ones are going to be gone once Fear itself is gone. That's one of those things I just realized this morning. Was Fear itself takes away the 3-point bystanders because none came out in War of Light. I don't know if there's any other bystanders in any of the other
5-point ones in War of Light.
Are there?
There's there might be.
So
yeah, there's at least a 5-point one. It's not that bad. It could ruin some teams, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it was nice to have those 3 points because I can't tell you how many times I've built a 297-point team. But we move on to the last preview that we have right now, and that is Atomica. This is also the main set one. I believe we may have seen this one somewhere else. I know we've seen the Fast Force one, but this is
new.
Yeah, this is a 64-point character. She makes Johnny Quicks better when they're adjacent to each other, attacked by attack value. Stealthy tiny character with poison. And then she's got a mid-dial to late-dial shape change. When she uses shape change and the attacker has a shared keyword, which is going to be obnoxious and sealed because she has just about every keyword in this set.
Yeah, she has a lot of keywords.
Yeah, she increases her shape change result by 2. That means she changes a shape change from a 5 or 6 to a
3, 4, 5, or 6.
4, 5, or 6.
And she wants Snoo from Johnny Quick.
Yes.
I mean, but if you think about it, that trait's not going to come into effect as often as you'd think, because...
Mostly because Johnny Quick does have hypersonic, and if he's carrying her around, he's going to be... she's going to be off the board and not as
exactly.
But if you move her forward and start using her poison nice and early, then when Johnny Quick shows up to attack adjacent to her, that's when you get the extra attack. So she might not be great to be carried by Johnny Quick herself, but another character carrying her up, which could be anybody with her being a tiny-sized character, could help set up some extra attacks out of even the Johnny Quick we just talked about, especially if you start adding +2s, +1s to his attack or to his combat values. You're adding +3 in the attack range, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed her shape change, the one that gives her the +2 to the result against characters that share a keyword with her. That's pretty much every single character in Sealed.
Yeah.
Except for like the pure villains like Sinestro and Black Adam and whatever.
Because even Lex Luthor has one of the Justice League.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
He's Justice League.
And there Argus for at least most of those Justice League, and there's Justice League of America, Crime Syndicate, Argus, and on the off chance, I think the DEO agents are also spies.
Are they?
If she takes a little bit of a nick, she's not going to be worried too much because you might not even get a chance to target her for most of the rest of the game. With a 3 to 6 isn't a guaranteed, but it's going to be tricky to get by, right? Any other thoughts? I know
I just wish that the poison and shape change, the special shape change, were more clicks together.
Yeah.
There's only that third collective where they're together.
Yeah. So, please deal 2 damage.
Credible for sealed, but in any other context, it's going to be completely overshadowed by the fast forces.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe the fast forces had plasticity, if I'm not.
Yeah, plasticity 19 defense, and then you're going to have to hit that defense more than once with that prob. So
And she's super.
yeah, it's plasticity with 6, 9 attack, precision strike, 19 defense with that special that is not going to ever come into effect, and 1 damage.
Well, and she's only 25 points in the fast forces, which is amazing.
She's the cheapest prob in the game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, can't go wrong. I like her. A lot of people seem to be hating on her for some reason, because they're not she's not overly crazy good, but then you get to that shape change, and then
yeah, I'd be hard pressed not to be able to fit her on a team at 25 points. I mean, how can you argue with that, right?
Oh, it's great. Very viable.
Yeah, 25 points per prob and plasticity. So.
All right, and I'm back. All right, so that was all the previews we've had for the week. So I want to move on to another announcement that got made this week. Some of us are aware. Some of you may not be aware. The ROC has announced, or the ROC has announced, that they're running provincial/state tournaments now. So what this means is in each province or state in North America, Canada, USA, your store can apply to be one of these provincial championships. And of course, these provincial championships are all running on the same weekend this time, and it'll be the weekend of June 27th and 28th. It'll be a little bit tricky to get to multiples because you have to literally go to another province or in Canada or state in the US of A. But these are basically the qualifier kits. Those unfamiliar there's a super qualifier kit and then there's a qualifier kit. There's going to be less figures in this kit, but they're also giving out special maps for this event, which are listed with the location in which you won the event. As well, you also get a jump into the semi-final bye of the ROC, a semi-final bye into the ROC Cup. Now, the ROC Cup has 3 tournaments. There's the quarterfinal, semi-final, and then the final tournament. And a certain placement in each of those gets you into the next one, or a certain number of ROC points will get you in. The first is the quarterfinal. You need 20 points, which would be winning a super qualifier or a qualifier or a regional. And the semifinal, I believe you need 100 points or to do well in the quarterfinal, and then winning in the semifinal or having an extremely large number of points will get you into the final tournament. Now, locally, I believe we have a store who's put in an application. Guys, are you planning on going?
Yes.
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 hope so.
Of course.
And now, if this is following the standard ROC, the tournament cycle, this will be in June, which is after April, which means everything's available again. Which I believe, if timing serves itself correctly and continuously, we'll see the Nick Fury set in this one. So
And we better also see wax because they don't cut it, right?
I promise nothing. This is also going to be after Worlds.
Free hope.
Happen just between New Mutants team base. It's gonna happen. They're gonna want to get rid of the team bases.
No.
Actually, I do. I remember I was talking about this a little while ago, and I do notice that it was. I said September was where the cuts were last time, and I believe I misspoken. It was August.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the 8th month to the 8th month of the next year, right? And if they follow that same format, unfortunately, Wolverine and the X-Men will be gone. But, and this is the part that I want to point out, is the season now became slightly shorter, and the month changes of it. There's that chance that Wolverine and the X-Men does sit in that happy place of just on. I feel like it might survive to the next set of cuts. With my fingers crossed, hoping that they take into account that we're losing a month with regards to the change in venue and timing.
And only got one Worlds, correct?
Yeah, there's always the one Worlds. Worlds is happening this year in Origins, where it usually happened in Gen Con. Gen Con being in July, Origins happening in June. So Lots going on with regards to getting a chance to play in tournaments, especially with these bigger portions of the Rock happening after Worlds. There's a lot more to go to that's not conflicting per se, right? Last year Dragon Con I think was like a week or two after Gen Con, so if you went to Worlds, holy hell, you have to suck it back up and get out to Gen Con or to Dragon Con. It might have been like 2 or 3 weeks. I might be a little off on that, but
I think it was actually like a week.
Was it just like a?
I think it actually was like a week.
And then it's boom. Okay, time to go to Dragon Con, and it's like what? This leaves because they've moved the Rock End game to October this year. There's a lot of chance to go to a lot of things this year, which is really good. And this is probably the most competitive play that's spread out across a long area that we've had a chance to go to, and I'm really excited about it myself. Are you guys pumped about how much?
I'm high! Yeah, I'm pretty excited to get out there. Just getting, I took a little bit of a break, so I'm just getting back into it. I had a guy over tonight, and we played some, and it's all coming back, man. The rust is being shaken off.
I have to ask, did I help beat the rust off on Friday?
Ooh.
Absolutely you did.
Mike definitely showed some ring rust on Friday. We had a chance to get a practice.
It was pretty bad.
And I've been playing the teams that are a little bit more common, and I played Super Skrull, Despotellus, and Engineer. And
yeah.
The game
has that actually been played?
Yeah, actually has been. That team has been played in the tournament. I believe it top 4 somewhere. I can't really hunt for it.
I can't see how that isn't just winning. That you could just take the whole pack and you just pick and choose what you want, and you make noises like you're eating at a gourmet restaurant. You're just like, I'm gonna have this and this and this, and then you're happy. How do you not win with that?
Well, he did win with it against the Batman of Zura and R, Bat Cycle, Harley Quinn. What else did I have on that team? I don't remember.
I don't think that team is very good.
Just trying.
Just because I beat you with that Batman that one time doesn't mean that he's the best thing
Sorry,
ever.
I have to say this.
Awesome.
I knew it was one of you guys. One of you guys had to be the one that beat him with that Batman to make him want to play it.
This was fucking months ago, though. It was just like, I brought it to a regular tournament. I was like, hey, Batman is Zura and R.
Yeah, I wanted to try that.
I put Predator on him because he loves his meds. And then it was fun.
Oh.
Yeah,
well, my team this evening was much better.
Oh no, sorry, that's a Weasel and Blind Owl. Okay, so this isn't the one with Despotellus, but there's a form of this. Brandon Niedenbach, who placed 5th in the most recent Rock that I actually interviewed Tim Bull, the guy who won this one, and that was the one where Howard Brock introduced me to quite possibly the most disgusting team I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, is this a new one or is it the old one?
This is the one I've been talking about for a few weeks now.
Uh-huh.
The Hope double tachyon grossness.
Hope double tachyon.
Hope needs to die. I want her to retire and then die. Sorry, Jordan.
No,
sorry.
In any case, in the top 5, Brandon played a Super Skrull and Engineer, which is pretty much the brunt of this team, and he took a Weasel and a Blind Owl on his team to kind of fill up the points, because that does leave a 40-point gap. That team. I kind of take the 10-point gap with the Despotellus mostly because it gives you that chance to walk away from the Pact and give you that extra option to fight with the Super Skrull should you need it.
Just walk away.
Yeah, because of course my easy out is I give Engineer Earthbound, and Super Skrull carries my team. Pact is done, right? And because of that ruling that we saw, it's on the WizKids event forum that if there's if there's like a limited number of characters in your team and the character who's been pacted carries somebody, the pact is broken.
No, it's just if you end up having one character, period, on your force. Yeah, doesn't matter if it's that character.
Yeah. So, of course, you give the safe version is, of course, to give Engineer Earthbound because you don't run the risk of doing the damage, and you take a walk with her. A sidestep walk, nonetheless.
I think my favorite thing about both those characters is that they can pick any power, but then they get sidestep on the dial. So no matter what, you still have the wonderful sidestep.
Yeah. And the more and more I talk about sidestep, the more and more I just remember how much I love that power.
Sidestep,
It's the best pink power.
Also worth mentioning, in the top 8 we have a Harold Demings, and I know you've been talking about this character a lot, Mike. This is the one that has the Wolverine and X-23, but also has a copycat and a Star Labs tech. Something to think about with regards to tech on that on your team, because of course copycat is the biggest piece of disruption ever created.
So say that team again.
Wolverine and X-23, copycat, and Star Labs tech.
I made a team. Something carrying? No, yeah, it was like something to carry Wolverine X-23, give them precision strike, or TK them, and they just kill Howard's Highfather, or something.
It was funny, when I was talking to Tim, one of his big strategies in the game was to, he knew what he was up against when he came against Howard, and he described that he had 2 outs, or 2 ways to approach the team, and it was Brother Voodoo gets TK'd up, takes a couple steps, and then tries to mind control something on Howard's team, and then because he had Maximus on his team as well to be pumping out the alpha primitives, right?
Bizarro flashes.
Yeah, and then his of course strategy would be to poke at the Highfather, and now should that not have happened, instead beat the crap out of Moira McTaggart so that she can't heal up the Tachyons, which was actually the next best, which was his backup plan, which he had to resort to, because fighting a click 2 and a half dial Tachyon is a lot better than fighting 2 full dial Tachyons. Yeah. So that gamble ended up paying off for him, of course, because his team gets an extra 60 points with the
Durs.
Yeah, the Durs. Alpha primitive, there they are. And of course he's got Banshee on his team and Loki to bring on the team as well. So it's overall, all in all, it was a lot more flexible than it looked team. And it seems that the Highfather strategy is either kill or break the pact and pummel the team, or pummel the Moira McTaggart on this strategy. So I know I've been actually considering Shatterstar again, which makes me feel a little nervous. I've never had a chance to use him.
Black Talon, bro.
I think I literally played him once on my team of just LGBT characters. I played him with the 60-point Harvey Dent to teleport, base your opponent with reflexes, and then get the willpower and prob for the next turn. Yeah, it was fun.
And I think at one point I had him on a team with Richter that wasn't really trying that hard, and it was also pre-nerf, or pre-errata rather. And then of course, with a team like that, I'm just kind of it was a whole X Factor team actually. It was a whole X Factor investigations. I had those 2, Polaris, a bunch of Madrox, and what's the other one? M, strong guy. That's my team. Now, Mike, do we want to talk about this team, or is this?
If you want, this is good.
This is your final decision. I like this team a lot, and this is the kind of team that is going to put a lot of pressure on a team like the one with the Highfather, and it is Murmur from Flash. I think I feel like he's a quiet entry into a lot of teams that could be really, really gross. Shatterstar, Harley Quinn at 50 points, Black Talon, a Bat Cycle, and a Bizarro. So you got a big old Alpha Strike in the off the start with.
Did he freeze for you guys too?
Mm-hmm.
I think he did.
Let's do the same thing.
There's one Perplexer on the team, so you can pop one of those up to a 20 in close combat, which is pretty safe bet. And then, of course, the Bat Cycle brings up whoever's left over to mop up whatever damage that you've done. And it's teams like this that are going to be deep in consideration as if more and more of this Highfather Hope Summers strategy come along.
Well,
Personally,
having played with this evening, I found that like the Murmur Shatterstar Black Talon combo was really, really, really good. They got in there, they did what they needed to do because, I mean, essentially in any of the high-level play teams, you're going to end up with at least one person who has an outwit or perplex or a probability control. So Murmur can just eat them. And the thing that I struggled with a little bit, maybe it's just because I'm not used to playing with the pieces very much, was Batcycle, Bizarro, and Harley there. Maybe I wasn't playing with Harley to her fullest potential, using her poison properly, etc. But I did end up using her probability control when she eventually made Murmur her pudding. The Batcycle was really a meat shield that didn't really matter that much. Bizarro was similar, but he did a little bit of carrying, and I landed on his super strength clicks a lot, so I ended up picking up an ultra heavy and missing with it.
So you cheated.
How would you? Yeah.
Just as a heads up on that one, Michael. A character.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because 25 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should
100 points.
Yeah.
Boo.
Shame.
But here's the thing: this didn't happen in a tournament, guys. This happened in practice, and this is why we practice.
But we must shun him.
Oh, and you can you can decide who her pudding is at any point in the game. So if it's in the middle of someone's attack, you can say that's my pudding. But not that it would be that. Yeah, you can.
The pudding is a once per game effect. Now, precedent right now is that if you go back and look at a ruling made about the sniper nest with the Winter Soldier. That said, once per turn, you can switch, you can change where he goes. Now, according to the event system, that's any turn, and that could be in the middle of an action, right? So because your turn isn't necessarily defined in that, right now the precedent set is that there's no specific timing on that. It doesn't say once per game on your turn. I don't have the card in front of me. I should actually probably pull it up.
It's also not a specific action, so there's no real... Yeah.
Right? So these are all the kind of elements that make it seem that way. We do have a question posted to the WizKids event system forum thing, because it says, here, once per game, choose a friendly character with a higher point value. The character chosen is Harley Quinn's pudding. Perplex probability control, but only target pudding. When it's KO'd, modify your combat values by +1. At no point does it say it has to be on your turn that you declare it, right? And because of the precedent set by the ruling based on the sniper nests, we kind of have that idea that right now we're looking at it and saying, well, okay, that's how that works, right? So,
well, I mean, the real benefit behind that is that you can declare it in the middle of someone's action. That character that they're targeting, if you made that into pudding, they go down and Harley becomes that much more powerful. You can use it.
Harley, you do not mess with a Jewish woman in any scenario. Yeah, I'm gonna hug Jake so tight when I meet him.
And hopefully the Batman doesn't replace her too soon.
Shh. Nobody replaces my Harley.
Make that Batman the pudding for the Harley Gotham City theme.
It's one of the best episodes of Batman the Animated Series when they team up and then she makes out with him at the end and then he's like, that happened.
And then you can add Grundy to that team, and you can make a Gotham City team that just shouldn't happen.
And you can add Jonah Hex, and then you can just be a terrible person.
Yay!
All the Jonah Hex. All of a sudden, it's a Brave and the Bold team.
And then 75 points, World Finest to round it out.
Oh my God, you're a bad person.
Okay. Now I did post the. Do you guys have questions?
All of them.
Modern game. Okay. So we got anything in Trinity War that stands out right now that's going to be in the meta. This is a question from Dan Upham. He specifically cited My Firestorm or Freddie Freeman, but let's not limit ourselves to those. He did say, what type of impact do you see the Trinity War set making as a whole? So let's go person by person. Give your own answer for this. Michael, start with you.
Well, I think we're seeing more possessors, are we not? I think with, what was it, Gluttony? Maybe I'm not recalling properly.
Gluttony and
Yeah, go ahead.
sloth.
What we've seen with regards to the characters, there's no possession per se.
Right.
Each of the sins is bringing in their sin relic
Right.
for free,
Right.
or not for free, but I think they would cost a points or something like that. I don't know.
But it doesn't count against your force, so yeah.
That's right. So if you have the resource and then you add it, all the power to you.
Well, I mean the Batman. We've already just said Batman way too many times, and you should never say Batman this many times in one Batman show.
I think I just saw him. It's too late. I'm done. Bye, guys.
Oh man.
Jordan, thoughts?
Depending on how the relics work out, I feel like actually some of these possessors might work their way into a team. I'm not 100% sure behind Gluttony, for example, but say he brought in some outrageous relic, it might just be worth to bring him into a team. Sloth seems kind of interesting for 100 points, has triple target in cap. I don't really think he's going to make a big splash in comparison to maybe the 85-point Batman or Freddie Freeman. I don't think he's going to make that much of a splash actually either at 112 points. He's just kind of a bruiser, and bruising doesn't seem to be a big thing in the game right now, especially at 0 range. Though I'm most interested to see how the resource Pandora's Box works out, because I feel like the outsider, when resources come back in, may be very good.
I was actually going to say the outsider as well, especially because he has that slingshot ability as well, or switcheroo, where he can switch places with somebody who shares that keyword, and then also mastermind at the same time. So you could see some interesting switch and disseminate of actual damage, right?
Yep. Jay?
Tim Hunter likes Gluttony a lot. Other than that, other things that have already been said, Nick Necro is pretty nasty.
Now, with regards to Nick Necro, do you feel there's going to be some kind of build around him that's going to make him kind of crash the metagame?
Hi, Father.
Fuck you. You can't. I don't want to let you play. No.
He even stops Despotellis and Adara because his special power says that character can't use combat or team abilities, and its combat values can't be greater than its printed values. So he stops Despotellis Adara right in his tracks.
Yep.
And has to him. Other than that, not sure how much. 'Cause I mean, Firestorm has that trait, but I don't think he's that good. The SR Outsider does his thing, but only within his own keywords. And now that they nerfed entities, I don't think he's nearly as potent as he could have been before. Not as much as I would have thought. I'm not liking this set as much as initially thought because some of the dials disappointed. But also Power Ring is kind of nuts.
Yes.
The main set one, people regardless of keywords, and then Perplex, and then stops Perplex, a la the Owlman with the Outwit, so he can stop the Blind Owls and the Harleys and that kind of stuff. And then, yeah.
Okay.
Some stuff.
Myself, I see boring answer. Of course, the Batman is going to make a splash. Specifically, if he makes this big splash, it's going to be at 85 points. I don't necessarily see the 150 point making as much of a mark in a 300 point game as the 85-point one is going to make, because mostly because he's just going to be that level of awesome support. One character having that much that many options is absolutely bat poop crazy.
No pun intended.
No pun. That was actually completely accidental. I had.
Oh, sure it was.
I see that Johnny Quick being in a couple Alpha Strike slingshot teams, just whipping him out there, sending him out 14 damage or 14 movement to just go down. Right?
14 damage.
I don't even think
2-5 damage.
Can Black Adam even do that? Black Adam can't even. No, he can potentially.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you can heal him back too and keep using him if it's a really longer game.
And I do think the Gravity Feed Green Arrow is going to show up on somebody's team.
Really?
Yeah, maybe in no tactics. Maybe.
He's going to show up on somebody's team. It might not be the winning team, but there's going to be a top 16 and somebody's going to get there with it. And it's going to be it's going to be something that was really good, or just based around making that Green Arrow really work, or something to that.
Weasel makes him completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be a combination with him and Weasel, and that arrow token is very flexible in what it can do. And let's not forget that he's got 3 targets when he does use Energy Explosion, right? So if there was a way to use more than 1 per turn, that would be pretty amazing. The fact that he can use 1 per turn is somewhat limiting, but I mean, the fact that he comes across his entire dial with Precision Strike, so he's getting around the super senses, very much, to a certain degree, limiting a lot of the rollouts in the game. I think the only one, if you choose Precision Strike, the only one that can get by you is the Shape Change, right?
And he's also got a good improved targeting. Actually, thinking about it, you could play him, Weasel, Bat Cycle, Banshee for 300.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. That
You
just
disgust me.
I feel like the Green Arrow is going to surprise at least one tournament, or somebody's going to play the crap out of it and do
He might
really
make
well
a
with
few
it.
splashes.
Yeah. But I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's going to be there, and he's going to be something to consider. That being said, same person, Dan Upham, wants to know, why is the Metal Lab such an awesome show? Let's start with that.
Thanks, Dan. We'll see you in March.
Yeah. Jordan? Big old hand heart.
Because of Jason.
Oh, whoa, easy with the sucking up there, all right? I don't even pay you. How much you?
You don't pay him? You pay me. What?
What?
You know, Jordan, that's a problem with my name, because I start hearing Jason and I start thinking you're going to say a nice thing about me, but then I just get disappointed all over again.
Yeah, you know how your girlfriend feels.
Ooh.
That's just mean.
Sorry, this is the mean part of the show where we all smack talk each other and we've run out of things to talk about. That said, don't forget, folks, March 7th is the Rock Super Qualifier in Windsor, Ontario at the Ambassador Golf Club. Address, of course, is not on my screen, and I'm always about to say it whenever I talk about this. We're all going to be there for the most part, most of us.
I'm not sure I'm going to be there.
Jay is the only one who's on, so you get a chance to meet Mike, Jordan, and Jay at least, and Amber will be there judging, and not my table, I promise. If you're across the table from me, she tries to make a ruling again on us, I'm kicking her away from the table so you guys can't accuse me of anything.
Actually, I think if I was going to go, I would want to judge.
Yeah.
Hey, what about the Winamap next weekend, or 2 weekends from now?
Exactly. February 21st, I'm running a Winamap over at the Comic Warehouse. That's 20 Strathern Avenue in Brampton, Ontario. I'll be judging that one with Amber. I hope you guys may get a chance to come. I know Jordan and Michael have definitely shown the interest in it.
I'm renting a car to be there.
You're also maybe, right, Jay?
Slim,
Mike
maybe.
will figure it out. We'll walk there if we need to.
All right. But, of course, registration starts for that at 10 a.m. at the door. 11 a.m. is when I say we're going to start. Don't believe me.
I thought you said it was 10. I thought registration was 9, and 10 was when you played.
No, got moved.
I've moved it up.
That was a non-existent time. It's always been 10.
No. At the behest of everybody who said, why 9 in the morning, I guess they don't understand the major competitive tournaments do this all the time. Because Windsor's at 9 a.m. But 10 a.m. we're starting registration. 11 a.m. hoping to start. After I've checked all your teams to make sure you guys are on the up and up. I'm going to be posting army sheets for that on my Facebook page and the Facebook page I have set up for the event. So if you guys are nice enough and happen to own a printer, by all means, fill those up before you bring them in. As well, as I was saying, the Windsor Rock Super Qualifier is at the Ambassador Golf Club in Windsor, Ontario at 1025 Sprucewood Avenue. They have a Facebook page that I will probably put a link to in the description below. The 21st, the Comic Book Warehouse is running, or the Comic Warehouse, sorry, in Brampton at 20 Strathern Avenue is running a feeder event. Winner of that gets free entry into the Super Qualifier. As well, on 22nd of February, we have in Whitby at 1022 Brock Street South, Comic Book Addiction is also running. All of these events are the 300-point modern, no tactics, no entity possession, no figures bigger than a peanut base format. And yeah, I'm really excited to get on these. The Comic Warehouse is going to be $5 entry fee. The Comic Book Addiction is going to be $6 in advance. I'll also put a link to get advance tickets if you're going down below. $8 at the door if you don't purchase in advance. The Super Qualifier, of course, the much bigger tournament, is $30 pre-registry. I believe it might be more at the door. That doesn't list it. I'm not 100% sure. If you do pre-register, though, you do get these awesome custom Black Adam dice. You wouldn't happen to have them handy, would you, Mike? No? Yes? No? No. Okay, that's cool. We'll have them ready for the next time.
Hold on 1 second. I don't want to.
Until then, guys, thank you, Mike, Jordan, and Jay, for joining us on the show today. Mike's going to show. Okay, we're going to get a good look at those dice before we go.
God damn it.
Spence is killing us all.
And they're not in there.
Oh!
There they are. Here they are. False alarm. Here they are.
Here they are. All right. Hold them nice and still. There we go. Look at that. The number 6 is a nice big old Black Adam Lightning. They look very pretty. So that's what you get for pre-registering for the Windsor Rock Super Qualifier. Again, that's March 7th, Saturday, at the Ambassador Golf Club at 1025 Sprucewood Avenue in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching live or if you're watching the archive, and don't forget, guys, practice makes your team better.